ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ Yes, here we are. In terms of Yoga Shastra, attitudes, values, goal, etc., what has changed for you and how have you benefited from these changes? That was my question to the students to write, to contemplate, to look at themselves. Attitudes and values, understanding of Samabhava and Samatva Bhava has helped me dealing with people of different characteristics like religion, belief, ethnicity, background, customs, diversity, etc. Also, that put me in the test to adhere to drashti, asangata, or tatastata bhava. Teaching of Vedanta brought higher values like honesty, truth, politeness, compassion, etc. I have understood without any doubt that the priority of the fourth Purushartha in the stage of life that I am in, mainly Vanaprastha. Which are other changes would you like to bring for yourself? Having understood Viveka very well, I would like to strengthen Vairagya and few elements of Shat Sampatti, including Shraddha and Samadhan. I would also like to strengthen or increase Nididhyasana 24/7 in life, supplemented by increased Upasana and daily prayers. Nothing is left out anyway. With reference to your vision of truth, Brahma Vidya, what are your doubts and queries? After being taught by Swamiji and Swaminiji and other Mahatmas, I have no doubts for the Brahma Vidya at all and have strong Shraddha in Gurus and Shastra pertaining to non-duality principle, non-duality vision, and have least interest in other available approaches. Also, I will not debate or have concern with those who follow other than the non-duality approach. I strongly feel blessed that we are on the right path, Raj path, and steered by Brahmanishta and Shrotriya Sadgurus. Hari Om. Question. Which other changes would you like to bring for yourself? Having understood Viveka very well, I would like to strengthen Vairagya and few elements of Shat Sampatti, including Shraddha and Samadhan. Would like to strengthen or increase Nididhyasanam 24/7 in the life, supplemented by increased Upasana and daily prayers. Good. It's a good resolve on your part. And I don't see any question, but it looks like a resolution on your part. And you have expressed very well. You have gone point-wise, which I wanted each one of them to do. But just to suggest you or to give you more clarity, that to have Viveka is nothing but the grace of Bhagavan. To have Vairagya is nothing but grace. Why do I say so? Because that discrimination everybody has. What to do, what not to do, what to buy, what not to buy, what to wear, what to not to wear, what to eat, etc. But to think about the Purushartha and take a call, that's just grace. And the grace is not something that God gives like partially to somebody and not somebody else. The grace is to be earned. and that you earn the grace by prayers and upasanas. And since you have mentioned that you are in a vanaprastha ashramam, so you may consider this, that vanaprastha ashrama is ashrama for upasanas, some japa, some stotra patha, or some puja to be done regularly. So, if you are doing, that's fine, I'm happy. Then enhance a bit. If you are not doing, then start doing. Japa, you may say, Swamiji, that I am doing japa, but mind doesn't concentrate. My mind keeps on wandering, etc. That's that's natural. If the mind is not wandering, I have a question about your mind. It is the nature of the mind to jump. It is nature of the mind to move around. And that Arjuna also had the same problem. Since you have studied Gita, you know somewhat. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramathi balavat dradam. It is very fickle and it creates a lot of turbulences in the mind and it is obstinate, etc. Arjuna says. More I say no, it just doesn't give up. More it sticks to it wondering. It's wondering. Then how to master this mind? Lord Krishna says, Asamshayam Mahabaho Manaschalam Durnigraham. He says, there is no doubt. I know my product. I have given you that mind. It is bound to be like that. So that mind moves around is a blessings in a way. That you can conduct your daily vyavhara. It moves faster is a blessing. Moving around is not a problem. The problem is mechanical thinking. You just move from one thought to another, one subject to another. That is a problem. So we have to address that. And that is addressed by doing what's the way out. When Bhagavan Arjuna said this, how to do that? Bhagavan said, Abhyasena kaunteya. You have to do practice. Other than practice, nothing will help you. So if the mind is wandering, still continue doing japa. If you are not able to focus, try. You have to put in lot of effort. Lot of effort in a sense. It's not impossible, but it's not that simple also. That's all. You have to exert. That's fine. We will do it. And therefore, Bhagavan says, Dhritya buddhya dhriti gruhitaya. You must have some dhairyam, some patience, some perseverance. That it is going to take time. And with a complete perseverance, I keep pursuing japa. So, being a vanaprasthi, please do regularly at a fixed time, at a fixed place, and a fixed mantra or stotra. That you please do that. That will help you to strengthen your viveka. Now, vairagya is something that you gain out of thinking, discrimination, internalizing, always being alert to your ways of mind, alert to your what you do during the day, analyzing. That, if not possible, constant exposure to Shastra study will change you. You will not even come to know. Because your values change. As your understanding changes, automatically your thought pattern and your way of working and your priorities all changes. Very aptly, you have mentioned that I am very clear, about the goal of the life. And I feel blessed that you are on the Raj path. That's true. It's a factual statement. That clarity itself has come because of you kept continuous studying from Gurujanas. And that clarity itself brings in the Vairagya or you can say it's a result of the Vairagya. Because more dispassion you have, more you commit to Shastra, the more you commit to study. And more you commit to study, more dispassion you will develop. They are interconnected, inter-helping. Because more you study, more you enjoy, more you look forward to the class, and more you feel happy, more sometimes the mind revels in those thoughts and you enjoy yourself. It goes on by itself. Sometimes after the class you don't feel like doing because you are in that state, as I say, because you are always contemplating and thinking about what you learn. So that study also gives you vairagya, and vairagya strengthens the study. So that's good that you have this clarity, but form a habit of sitting alone and writing notes. I know you are taking notes in the class, but then write a complete essay or note, 2, 3 pages, full-scape pages, as to what was the whole lecture in detail. Just bring back, as the flashback, the whole thing, point by point, how it got developed and what example and what way the thing was conveyed or what joke, etc. Remember, you need not write jokes, but you can write the whole sequence and in your own words. That becomes mananam and nididhyasana. Whenever you have a class on the same day, especially people from the Western countries, they have advantage, you know. So far, not me, but none of our Swamis taught, even Puja Swamiji never taught Upanishad in the evening class. We had, when you is in ashram, we had 3 to 4 or 3:30 to 4:30 afternoon class. Sometimes 4 to 5. But in that classes, he never taught Upanishad. We were taught Gita or some Prakarana Grantha. Upanishad were taught in the morning only. First time I have been teaching at night, not even in evening. This is a time in India when we do satsanga, just general question answer and thing like that. Whereas I took a serious and that too most quite complicated Upanishad called Ishavasya Upanishad. Now, having studied, you will understand you need a teacher to understand these words and the context and the whole meaning. Without that, you can't understand. So, but then it was taken because most of you who are listening are from the Western world. Originally, it was started from students, I mean, the classes were started for students from America and Canada. In India, we used to have physical classes. I was physically available. Because of COVID-19, the Indians have also joined of late. So, since you listen in the morning, you can sit the same day after 9:30 or whatever time is convenient. Sit down and just see the whole thing in a flashback and write the whole thing in your own sentences as if you are going to give lecture. That itself becomes a nididhyasanam, and that will strengthen your viveka and vairagya. And that more vairagya, the shamadama becomes natural. The samadhi sampatti is nothing but strengthening of vairagya. Mix kar diya. Another one, what has changed? One of the other students. The deepening of my devotion to Lord Shiva, Nataraja, and having the Chidambaram Rahasyam be understood more clearly within the light of Brahma Vidya and Jyotish Shastra. There is upasana of Nataraja in the form of crystal lingam. Upasana, formless form, crystal lingam. And contemplation, Nishkala, formless my contemplation. This and deepening my understanding of Shraddha and its relation to Bhakti brings more ease, more peace, more tranquility and clarity. The vision is more and more assimilated and is more and more fully flowing out in meaningful ways to all my clients, independent of their knowledge or spiritual tradition. And that is happiness when dharma and karma dances like a dance of Nataraja. I would like to deepen my study of Mahabharata. I believe it would deepen my Vedanta study. My New Year resolution is more time with that. My query: the relationship between mystical experience, Vedic ritual, and Brahma Vidya. One. Of late, I have taken to less of recitation of Purushottam and Rudram and more I am reading and contemplating on the meanings. I am captured lately by Purushottam. I sit at puja time and read it more than recite. It brings out the joy. My gratitudes and pranams is overflowing to Puja Swami Dayanandji for giving me Puja Swami Paramatmananda and for the priest community at Chidambaram for showing the meaning of devotion, Shraddha and love of God in all forms. Another question: the relationship between mystical experience, Vedic ritual, I think same thing you have rewritten. Yes, same thing. Good that you have been able to translate this learning to your students, I mean your clients who come to you. It's good because it will help you. Just as this knowledge helped you and you had some grace of Ishvara that you came to Puja Swamiji and then to me. So those who are falling short of the grace to come direct to us, you are tapping the grace for them. And if there is, because after you expose them to this, there must be feeling of awe. Oh, this is so. Oh, this is so. Like even we still have, even now when I listen to Sonat CD of Swamiji, I feel, oh, it's nice to hear again. So, and that will help them to grow in their life, in the relationship, in their values, in their attitudes, in their priorities. So it's good you are doing, and I'm happy about it. This is one kind of fulfilling the Rishi Runam. You are trying to fulfill the indebtedness towards our all Rishis. Now, another just my comment on this. I would like to deepen my study of Mahabharata. I believe it would deepen my Vedanta study. True in a way, but basically Mahabharata is a dharma grantha. It talks about do's and don'ts, values, etc., attitudes, relationship, and in between the lines and sometimes very clearly, the human mind, how the mind works. It gives a tremendous insight about our own way of thinking. These characters of Mahabharata, as Swamiji would say, they were architect, or I would say they are personification of some values. Like Duryodhana is a personification of jealousy, personified jealousy. is Duryodhana. As it is mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana, Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. Rama is nothing but embodied Dharma. If Dharma was to take a form, that is Rama's form. Similarly, if jealousy is to take a form, that is Duryodhana, not your office colleagues or your some relatives and friends or your mother-in-laws and daughter-in-laws. No, they are not jealousies. Or Derani Jetani. They are not personified. They are the glimpse. They are jhaki છે ઠાકોરજીની એ તો. But personified jealousy is Duryodhana. Personified karma, embodied karma is Ravana. These characters, when you look into study Mahabharata, it would help you to understand the human mind and understand what are the do's and don'ts and what should I not be doing, where should I not fall trap for it, etc. That you learn. It does help to deepen your study of Vedanta. I would say strengthen your study. Or actually, the study of Vedanta is only Upanishad. Okay, and nothing is better than deepening or strengthening of for our Vedanta vision. Nothing is better than Upanishad itself. Nothing can replace it also. So, to strengthen your study, you need to continue studying more Upanishad. And that is also Guru Mukha Deva. First, you have to study from the teacher. And even if you have studied from the teacher earlier, then again study. Punaha. Paunah paunena shravanam kurya. You have to do again and again. Sometimes it might happen that what I may be talking, you might have heard, even the text, you might have studied. But then exposing again and again gives more clarity. Depends your vision of Vedanta. Mahabharata, there are primarily Dharma Shastra, attitudes and values, and here and there are some shlokas. That is true with any Indian literature. Even Raghu or Sanskrit literature also you will find something. That Atma is one and etc. And some shlokas quite similar to or familiar to were mantras of Upanishad. But that's just by the way remark. It's not the essence of it. Tatparya is different. And the more if you think you are studying Mahabharata and there may you find some verses and you think you are studying Vedanta, no. As I said, you have to study from a teacher. There gets validation you may find in Mahabharata. This is West. It's true about characters and all that. Now the question. That's good. I mean, that when you say I'm chanting less now, when contemplating or listening to Suktam and seeing the meaning, all these Suktas, Vedic Suktas, primarily reveal two things. They reveal Ishvara as a all-pervasive in all forms. The Rudram, when we say Namo Namaha Namaha Namaha, Namah Shambhavaya cha Shiva, Namah Somaya cha Rudraya cha Namastamraya cha Arunaya cha Namah Shangaya cha. That is, Namaskara is in the form of Vishwarupa. Hey Ishvara, who is this, who is this, who is this? I have my Namaskara. So, they talk about eminent aspect of Ishvara, who is all-pervasive. And there are mentioned that he is beyond, or in spite of being all-pervasive, he is unaffected. That means this peculiar relationship, Satya-Mithya relationship between the creator and created, the Adhisthana Adhyarupa relationship, the substratum and superimposed, the creator and created, that is being conveyed When you say Purush Suktam, Rucha, Ruk, Atyatishtat Dashangulam, no? When you say Sabhomim Vishwato Vrutva, Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, Sahasraksha Sahasrapat, Sabhomim Vishwato Vrutva, it has pervaded entire everything. And it is beyond it also. 10 fingers or something. When something is all pervasive and at the same time beyond, that means that something is a substratum. And that which unto which it is all pervaded is superimposed. So these suktas reveal abhinna nimitta vivarta upadana. Ishvara is nimitta upadana karanam, and that too vivarta upadana. We have seen earlier this whole thing. So it's good. The suktas have fulfilled their purpose. The chanting you were chanting, but when you see the sukta and see the meaning, it becomes contemplation. It becomes nididhyasana. It's good that less chanting and more nididhyasana. Well, all upasanas are meant for this. All upasanas are meant to lead you to Shastra Abhyasa. And that after Abhyasa is Manana and Nididhyasana. So that you are doing it, I'm really happy. And it has fructified. Your love or devotion for Nataraja or Lord Shiva has fructified. That you get this kind of feeling. Nothing wrong. And it's welcome. Now, relationship between mystical experience, Vedic ritual, and Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya, as you know, it reveals identity between individual and total. It reveals my nature as Purnaha, as Anantaha, Satyam Gnanam, Anantam Brahma, that I am limitless. And text like Bhagavad Gita, which is essence of Upanishad and revealed by none other than the Lord who revealed Upanishad to Rishis. So that is Brahma Vidya. But to see through the meanings of these words, Upanishadic words, you need a teacher. And you need a mind, antakaranam, which is pure and focused and subtle. Sukshma drashtya, it can focus for a length of time and it is free from likes and dislikes. To gain that mind relatively, you need upasanas. So the relationship between upasana and knowledge is this. One is a means, another one is the end. Different various Vedic rituals are the means to gain the end purely, pure mind. You know, people do all seva in India, often they raise a question. I have been doing pujas and prayers for so many years and going to this temple and that temple on Purnima. You know, India have value that every Purnima they go to some temple. Some of them walk down 50, 60 kilometers every Purnima, or they go by car and do darshan and come back. Just for 5 minutes of darshanam, they will travel 5 hours that day. They will not keep any appointment that day. They will work, adjust their work schedule, etc. So that's a bhakti. This upasana or bhakti gives you the mind which is necessary for Shastra study, gives you discrimination, and the grace that you have earned by doing this gets you a teacher. So relationship between rituals and knowledge is this much. What? One is a means, another is an end in itself. Okay? Knowledge is an end, and rituals are the means. Bhakti is a means. Now you have asked me about mystical experiences also. How can I talk about it if it is mystical? When it's mystical, you cannot talk nor you can express it out. That's mystical. How it happened, why it happened, what it happened, nobody knows. That's a mystic. So, anyway, however, I'll try to explain to you. Mystical experiences are purely subjective, individual. That's great. And it may, most of the time, as I heard, it is fulfilling. It is giving you some satisfaction, some contentment, some happiness. That's fine. But one should know that mystical experience itself is not an end in itself. However deep joys you get, so much of happiness you felt or peace you felt during that mystical experience, but then it is not permanent. Because I felt that time, so I want to get it again. And since it is not permanent, it is not satyam, it is not truth. But then, as I said, it's subjective. And what we are talking about is objectivity. Vairagya is objectivity and knowledge is absolute objectivity. You can see the person not confined by upadhi or etc., but you can see the person as what? You have to see the person as the satya expression of the truth. You know? So, we are talking about objectivity. Mystical experiences are purely subjective. So, in a way, there is no connection. They go in opposite directions sometimes because these mystical experiences give some deepening joy and sorrow, and then it doesn't last. The fellow is hooked to have it again and again and again. He doesn't do introspection, doesn't do study. So, mystical is subjective. Even Vairagya is being objective. Knowledge is complete objectivity. So, that's a relationship. And I'm happy that you are reading more commentaries and meanings of the Shastras. But try, if you can, to write the whole thing in your own words, writing a note. I think I have explained this earlier also to you in person when you were at Rajkot. So you can just get back to your memory, and if you can't remember, you may call me or write to me. I'll talk about it. Another one. I am indebted to Swami Paramatmananda for his traditional, authentic, and most valuable teaching of the Shastras. Thank you, Swamiji. I have become little American. You are welcome. You are welcome. They don't speak the whole thing, welcome. I said, you are welcome. So, anytime I enjoy teaching, it's an expression of my own joys. So, I'm happy to share if you are getting it. I am okay to share following with the group in case that help others well. My questions. In terms of Yoga Shastra, attitudes, goal, what have you benefited? Or from the changes? What changes? Question. That was my question. Swamiji had explained nicely that to that extent one accepts the situation. People includes people and behavior. To that extent one becomes free. It has helped me to make change. Still working though for myself. The benefit is enhanced peace of mind. Which other changes would you like to bring for yourself? I have tough time accepting people's inappropriate behaviors towards me, especially when I have honestly and sincerely tried to go out of the way to help. Though I understand that it is my own prarabdha, I still have difficult time to accept it. I want to bring that acceptance in me. I want to free myself from those past unpleasant memories. With reference to your vision of truth Brahma Vidya, what are your doubts and queries? In spite of the study of scriptures in general and Vedanta Bhagavad Gita in particular, if person is still not drawn to perform the duties, what will help him to make that happen? See, to the extent you accept the people and situation, to that extent you are free. And freedom is peace of mind. Bondage is disturbances. Freedom is peace of mind. And I'm happy that you are experiencing that freedom and you are growing. But also remember, acceptance should be out of vision, not just by decision. As Puja Swami used to say, one step vision. You don't see the what the person has said. You don't see what the person is doing. You try to see the background of the person. And when you see the background of the person, that will help you to accept the person very comfortably. I mean, very easily. You might, in fact, you may sympathize, start sympathizing with that person for this kind of behavior. His or her background or their own psychological problems. And I appreciate those problems and see them to be immature, it becomes easy to accept that. Exactly like a 3 or 5 year baby may tell something to dad. You know, it is acceptance not out of decision, out of our own maturity, out of our own understanding of the baby's limitations. When you see the limitations, you have sympathy. That acceptance should bring sympathy, not complain about the person. One thing, like every doctor has a sympathy for the patient, Not like Mullah Nasruddin doctor, This Mullah ji became a doctor in his village without any qualification. He didn't know, he knew where head was in a city and knew some medicines and kept giving and it worked. One day, one day a patient came. Yes, sir, I have an eye problem. Now I don't see and see the things hazy and all kinds. Mullah didn't know that solution. So he said, lie down. No, sorry, that person said, I have stomach problem. So he gave medicines and I'm sorry, let put it, this is the correct way. I have a stomach problem and gave some medicines and it didn't work. Next day patient comes, I still have aches and cramps and all that. He again gave medicine. Third day the patient comes and tells me that yeah, not only cramps and aches, now I have diarrhea also. The mullah said, lie down on the bed. Poor fellow was made to lie down and he put some eye drops. And I said, now go. This fellow said, Doctor, I have not eye problem. I have stomach issues. And why are you putting eye drops? ડફોળ જોયા કર્યા વગર ગમે તે ખાધું એટલે પેટમાં દુખ્યું પેલા આંખ સુધા idiot. You have been eating anything and everything without looking at it. That's how you have stomach pain. First improve your vision, then come to me. No, doctor doesn't do that way. Doctor has a sympathy for the patient. Whatever pain the patient has, he sees the problem, where it is, and what it can cause. And secondly, I appreciate, I mean, I really like that, and it's good that you have honestly and sincerely got out of the way to help them. But then tough time to accept their inappropriate behavior at those moments. Then I would suggest you don't go out of the way to help people or develop a strength to accept that people are like that. This is how they are. And in that case, you need to learn to draw boundaries for your relationship. Otherwise, as they say, they may take you for granted. That must may be giving you pain. Because you go out of way, out of your 100% plus, and then help them in whatever way you can. And that is not only not appreciated, but sometimes other comments or non-acceptance on their part, their behavior may be painful to you. So generally, don't cross it till you get strong enough to be unaffected by others' behavior, become untouched. There's so much of strength within that it doesn't affect me. Otherwise, you keep burning your heart all the time. You will have heartburns because the people are what people. Don't say it's my prarabdha. No, it's not your. See, had it been your prarabdha, it would have come you earlier. But then, if it is certainly your purushartha, because when you said I go extra mile for them, I go out of way to help them. That's not prarabdha. It is your purushartha. That purushartha might bring about this result. Therefore, you need an attitude of karma yoga. Prasad buddhi, more, less, equal, and opposite. Sometimes it may be opposite to what you expected. But then you have to be karma yogi in terms of attitude, seeing that as a prasada. True, it may be painful. I appreciate because of the limitations of the mind. Sometimes you are stuck with a person where person is insensitive and he or she keeps giving you pain. And stuck with such a person that you cannot even break the relationship. Neither you can get out of the relationship nor you can maintain it because it's beyond your mental, psychological capacities. So, not necessarily prarabdha. Free from those past unpleasant memories. That's memories, existence of memory itself shows there was a tremendous pain within, tremendous hurt within. You got so hurt by their behavior. That will go by abhyasa only. Acceptance is a prasada. So, okay, now this is how it was. And maybe my prarabdha or maybe my error of crossing 100+% for them, wrong person that I helped, but nothing can change anymore. My brooding will not change the person nor the situation. Leave them, get out of those relationships, simple. Or keep it formal, like American, I love you, but nothing love. It's only statement, I love you. Then they tell to everybody, I love you, love you, love you. What do you mean by love you? It's like thanks. You just say it mechanical. Before it gets mechanical, get out of those relationships if you can, or create a space, psychological space, so that they may not abuse or misuse or give you pain because you did something good for them. One more. In terms of yoga, shastra, attitudes, values, goals, what has changed you and how have you benefited from these changes? Though the studies of Shastra, through the study of Shastra, I have better understanding of how my identification with the body, mind, and the world has impacted my life thus far. Shastra studies help me to determine how that needs to change for spiritual progress. I have become more aware of the teachings in such a way that when anything disturbing comes across, I most of the time remember to remind myself of Atma Anatma Viveka that almost instantaneously puts my mind at ease and brings the thoughts to the center. Therefore, I am more efficiently able to handle the situation. Similarly, anything positive that comes across keeps me in the check. I appreciate it, but remember that it is a temporary and its departure does not disturb me as much. I feel blessed for the or Ishwar Krupa and Guru Krupa. My commitment to studying Shastra is becoming more and more firm as the time goes by. I continue my study with you, Sri Vijay Kapurji, as well as different study groups on regular basis. Most of my sources of study are from the same parampara, meaning you and your Guru Bandhu's discourse. In addition, I am a part of Swadhyay Parivara. While continuing to do my duties towards the family, I have made Shastra studies a priority. Good. Which are other changes would you like to bring in yourself? I would like to simplify my life even more such that I have more time for Shastra Shravanam, Manana Nididhyasana. I also need to increase the focus of my mind with reference to your vision of the truth. What are the doubts that queries? I have Purana Shraddha on the Shastra and I always strive to apply what I learn. It seems that whatever queries I have generally find answers from the Shravanam, Mananam. Most of my why questions have been answered by Karma Siddhanta. I try to practice Ishvara Arpana Buddhi and Prasada Buddhi. I am content with where I am for a Vyavaharika point of view, and I am trying to progress spiritually. My struggle is to continue to focus on the study and still be in the samsara and maintain inner balance. I will appreciate your guidance for that. This is good. I am happy what all you have written and very clearly mentioned about these things. Atma Anatma Viveka, if it helps you, it's very good. You create a space between the Jiva and Atma, the Vyavaharika I and Paramarthika I. And then that should help you when you become quiet and peaceful, instantaneously at peace. That's good. And that you remember is temporary. Therefore, it doesn't disturb you as well. True, what you have gained is certainly because of Ishwar Rupa. And it's good that you are continuing study from traditional teachers. When you say Arsha Parivara, they're all Shastra, they know the Tatparya of the Shastra. They may not be able to communicate completely the vision, but at least they will not create any confusion. Swamiji's methodology of teaching was such that he will make sure that the student is grasped. Most of them are teachers by themselves, so you are in a safe hands. Nothing wrong in attaching yourself to Swadhyaya Parivara. It's good to do some seva for society, but one should be clear any kind of seva or any kind of work is not going to cook the goose of ahankara. The ahankara is born out of ignorance, and only knowledge will let you free from the grip of ego or samsara. And then with keeping this mind in mind, nothing wrong in doing seva anywhere. But one should have the priority, the ultimate priority is knowledge that I have to gain. That's fine. You can continue to be with Parivara, Swadhyaya Parivara. And that's good. You have made Shastra study as a priority. That's how life should be. So you don't miss the class, and more you try not to miss, more you will find all your questions and queries got answered in the very next day class. So this is how Shastra is. Which are this, I would like to simplify my life even more, such that I have more time for Ishvara Manana and also need to increase the focus. That is again good that if you can afford to decrease your engagement with the world outside, therefore you will be more contemplative and more quiet, and therefore you will be closer to the goal. That is also good that you are planning that. And as you mentioned, I generally find answers from Shravana Manana of any of those teachers. That's good. My struggle is to continue focus on study and still be in samsara and maintain balance. As I mentioned earlier, please write notes. You attend classes, but you take classes as though, make a note as though you have to give a talk tomorrow. You keep aside those jokes and stories and see the whole essence. And put in your jokes and stories if you want to, but that should be spontaneous. And then see, write it down. That's when you write down by yourself, that becomes mananam and nididhyasana. So try that if you want to enhance or focus on the study and to maintain the balance in samsara. More you focus and more you are clear, more you will be able to see Ishvara in your life. So continue studying Shastra and continue doing some japa that you have already been doing, but I am sure after some time that japa will help you to be more introvert. Okay, I think next time, tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.